Hey guys, Cory Frederick here, tournament director of the inaugural Tyrant Wrestling Hall of Fame folk style duels here in none other Canton, Ohio, the Football Hall of Fame Village. First ever sporting event that they've had in this dome that they just finished construction. And I've had the pleasure to run into Theodore, who is with First Formula Wrestling and First Formula Radio. I was just walking around the floor checking on things, and I bumped into him. I saw the best dressed looking guy in the building, and we got to talking. So really, I wanted to take this opportunity to allow you to talk about your initiatives in Canton, or really across the country, but what you're trying to do and what you want to promote. And I think in our brief personal conversation over there, I just found it very interesting in everything that you're working on. So why don't you tell all the people that were here for the tournament, or anybody that's going to be watching this interview, all the things that you're working on and a little bit about you.
Okay, thank you very much, Cory. I appreciate you coming to Canton, bringing this program here. I understand that you're going to be doing a lot more here, and we want to be part of that. There's a big sponsor here in the Hall of Fame Village in the Dome, Eric Canton. He's a new car dealer that really does a lot of support here in Canton. He's asked me to make things better and bigger here in Canton. This venue, and by you coming in town, has really kind of given us an outline as to how we want to do things. I understand that you're going to be coming in again. We want you to come in. Thank you, welcome, because you're really making the sport a lot better, from the little kids all up through even college and international. We really want this to work here in Canton, and it is, because we've gotten a lot of people behind us. A lot of clubs, a lot of coaches have gotten behind us. We're going to be doing podcasts. Right now, our radio station is Live 365 First Formula Radio. You can kind of tune in on the computer and get us. We're doing just music right now, but we'll be doing interviews, podcasts, and a lot of other things that are going to directly influence and help out in our community. We want to try to get a lot of the kids into this sport simply because it's a good life skills sport. That's the majority of what we're really trying to do. I'm a coach. I've been a coach, and I like working with a lot of young people. And I always tell our young people, you know, some of these young people are some of the best people God has ever put on the earth, seriously. And we have to start encouraging our young people to do good things, to be able to make this a better world. Sometimes when we come into it, we hear a lot of negative things that are happening right now. But we have to start talking to our young people a lot more, simply because they're watching us and they're listening to us. And we can have an influence on our young people because they want to do some good, but a lot of them don't have structure. We have to give them structure. Wrestling is one of the best forms of structure. If you have a kid that's kind of off the path, this can actually, and I've seen it in my 60 years of wrestling and my 40 plus years of coaching, I've seen so many kids come from the negative into the positive, where they actually become leaders in the world. And this is what a lot of our coaches are trying to do. We want to make it where our young people are making a positive example for our young people to follow. And folks like you, folks like myself, people that are really helping, Coach Donahue, there's so many people that want to make this a better world, and the only way that we're really going to do it, get involved and help these kids solve some of the problems that some of us have created.
So there's a couple things, whether it's through this interview or we're having a private conversation. So a lot of people have said, hey, you know, we want you here. We hope that you stay here. I think there's been some one and done people in the past with other organizations, but you know, this tournament didn't happen overnight. So I'm just giving you a little bit of history. For us, I started having conversations back in 2017 with Mary Vallejos with the Visitors Bureau. So her and I met, and she's been working on it, and through her, she's the biggest reason why I found Canton, Ohio. And she kept telling us about this vision and this dream that they had here, at the village, and they were going to build this. Well, anytime it's new construction, we know, one, is it ever going to happen? And then two, a lot of times there's delays in construction. So, it eventually happened. It didn't start off being a dome, I don't think, but it was going to be a building. But it's a dome. The construction finished. But, for me personally, Mary is the biggest reason why I'm here.
That's
through her support, and the local visitors bureau is the reason why our organization was able to make this happen. And we plan on, when we come places, we're not just, we don't plan on moving around. We're here, and this is our first year, and we plan on being here forever. So, and I think it's a really unique experience because it's not just showing up at, some high school gym, or it's not just showing up and wrestling and leaving. Wrestling's really important, and we want to do that, but there's a lot of things around here that people can do, even outside of the village. But here, they got the Pro Football Hall of Fame Museum across the street that they can go to. They got a Ferris wheel. They're putting in an indoor water park. They're going to have a couple of hotels on site. They got the stadium, the enshrinements here, but there's just a lot of things to do here. And I think it's more about the experience for the kids and the families. And a lot of people here came in a day earlier, or they're staying a little bit later to do those things. So, one, we plan on establishing roots here and continuing on in the long run. And then two, I know you mentioned football, and we're really on a football campus per se, even though there's lacrosse fields and soccer fields down the street at the Plex. But when I was actively coaching up until about 5 years ago, you were always trying to get the football players to come out and wrestle.
Right.
And you always needed upper weights to fill those holes for you. And it was few and far between that maybe a kid wrestled his whole life and he was an upper weight. So one of the things we talked about is from USA Wrestling, back when I coached and I was the state chairperson for USA Wrestling in Delaware, I have a PowerPoint presentation that's called Football to Wrestling. And it's just that. It's just that. It's really trying to get that guy that wants to play football to come and wrestle, and all the benefits. If he doesn't become his primary sport isn't wrestling, that's okay. But wrestling can make you a better football player, and wrestling can make you a better any other athlete, and just a better person in general. So I think that's what's most important. And then none other than being right here at the Football Hall of Fame is let's try to get more football players to come and wrestle. And that was one of the biggest reasons why we wanted to run this. And now we'll be back in April for another tournament, because right now it's prime football season. We wanted people to come to our tournaments and experience the Hall of Fame and do all those things, whether it's the moms and the dads or the brothers and sisters, but the guy that wrestles, we want him to come and check that out because they probably have never been here before. So I guess in closing, is there anything you really want them to know right now in this short interview that we're going to do about you or the organization or Canton? We can have a follow-up later, but in closing, is there anything you could just say to the people? And I know you mentioned some other things, but just developing people on and off the mat, or what is your overall life goals to try to help, youth become, adults?
Well, the main thing that I really concentrate on, and I tell a lot of coaches this, a lot of coaches, they really specify technique, they specify a lot of other things, but the main thing that you really need to specify is life skills, because this is a sport that can make you transcend into a better life later on. And one of the things that I talk to kids about when they're trying to recruit kids, I don't try to paint a rosy picture for them. I let them know wrestling is a hard work sport. It's hard work. And if you're not willing to work hard, you won't become a champion. I can make you a good wrestler just by being the coach. But a champion has to do more than what the coach asks him to do. He has to really be dedicated, or he or she has to be really, really dedicated. And that takes a lot of sacrifice, takes a lot of hard work. But if a person truly wants to be a champion, and one of the best things that I've found about this sport is it's a good way for a kid who is willing to work hard to be able to get into a good college, get an education, and to be able to come out and even become a coach, where he can continue this whole outline of leadership in America. This is what we really, really have to emphasize to our kids. That's pretty much what it is. I'm also a wrestling coach at St. Thomas Aquinas. We haven't had a wrestling program for quite a while, so we're building again. And we want to be able to make it where it's not only I'm exclusively a coach for St. Thomas Aquinas, but have it where it's inclusive rather than exclusive. We want as many people to get involved in this program. We have some good people here in Canton. I mean, I think you've already seen that. Some really good people, and we want to be able to make this one of the major stops when a person is just coming through Ohio. Even if they have to say, hey, well, we're 100 miles away. Well, let's go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, because they have an exhibit in there about wrestling. They have so much, and then so many people, they want to come to the hall simply because, hey, this football is one of the major sports in the world. You know, our form of football. It's one of the major sports. A lot of people want to come to the Hall of Fame just to visit, but there's so many other attractions around Canton and in this general Ohio vicinity that a lot of people really enjoy bringing their families and enjoying.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing is, I'm reflecting on my own life and a lot of kids that I've coached, and then taking what I'm hearing from you is there really can only be one champion on the mat in that weight class.
Right.
But everybody else has gone through the same journey to get to that point. But we all can't be champions on the mat, but ultimately wrestling translates to life, and you can be a champion off the mat as a person, as an employee, starting your own business, whatever it may be, a husband, a wife, a father, all those types of things. So, well, it's been a pleasure meeting you and getting to know you, and I look forward to working with you in the future. All right, thank you, Theodore.